Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cardboard Alchemy stream. This is on a Friday. Happy Friday, or whenever you're watching this. I am Peter Vaughan. I am the co-founder of Cardboard Alchemy. I have Rosie Powell in the chat, our comms manager, ready to say hello and get your questions. Anything you want to know about board game making, the state of board game making, what we make, what you're playing. If you want to talk about design or development or crowdfunding, we have a lot of fun, exciting things to talk about. I am wearing a Flamecraft shirt. This is the Flamecraft shield or emblem because I'm going to tease that there are several Flamecraft things in the work for 2025. But I have lots of fun things to talk about. We like to, in general, we talk about, we've made Andromeda's Edge. Andromeda's Edge, the background behind me, that is our third game produced at Cardboard Alchemy. And it is about to release retail-wide, worldwide, everywhere. And we're super excited by that. Now, this is the last time I'm going to have this background up because we're going to take a little bit of break. We'll have a couple weeks different in November. We'll go over that. When you come back, it's time to talk about Critters in the Kitchen, because Critter Kitchen is our next game, and there's a lot of fun things to talk about with that game. But there's so many fun things to talk about where I want to start. So I want to start talking about some crowdfunding campaigns because we are a crowdfunding company. That is the part of the business I understand the best. So when we talk about things, we can talk about design or development or publishing or playtesting or any part of it. I encourage you to ask anything you want to talk about as far as board games go, because I love talking about board games. But crowdfunding, I really love crowdfunding because it is the chance to bring something to life. And that is how I got started in the board game business myself, is I had an idea of a game that I wanted to get made, and I went to crowdfunding and I made it possible with the help of, at that time, my first game, 432 backers, who I'll never forget. Anyway, I want to talk about crowdfunding because there's a couple exciting projects, one of which is Robotopia. Well, that's what it's called. On Kickstarter. We're gonna have the links to these in our description and in our Discord as well. Robotopia, a strategic Euro game of robot revolutionaries, because basically you're being oppressed and you're gonna rise up. I think it's very funny. You actually you're like, I'm taking over this factory. This is a fun game by Jelly Bean Games, which our friend Jelly Bean Games, actually Peter C. Hayward, started Jelly Bean Games. So this is designed by him, Peter C. Hayward, also of Critter Kitchen fame. So we're talking about Critter Kitchen next. That is our next game. It's one of his games. He's also made That Time You Killed Me and Things and Rings, a lot of fun games. Peter definitely makes fun games. Robotopia is from his company, and it's on Kickstarter right now. They've funded, and I think they could use more help. If you want to look at it and you like worker placement games, this looks like a really interesting one. Different workers. It looks like whatever robot you pick, something different happens, but you're also activating not just the hex, but maybe the intersection of hexes, so you can take different actions. Looks really interesting. It is also Peter's birthday today, I found out. So, it's a birthday present. Well, actually, it's a birthday present that comes like a long, that's for you, not for him. Well, it's for him, but then it's later, and it's a whole thing. Maybe next birthday he gets it. I don't know. But anyway, I love funding indie games, and this one looks fun. And I have one more to shout about, then we'll find out if Rosie has any, and we'll get into our other topics for today. But Mad Kala, which is Wonderland's War. It's a 2-player game in the Wonderland's War universe. And this is from Druid City Games. Druid City is an amazing publisher that they, just like us, they deluxify everything. And I love Wonderland's War. I think Wonderland's War is really not for 2, like it says 2, but I think it's better for a big group. So I love the fact that they've made something that is for 2 that kind of like goes into the Mancala game, and it looks like this one might have been designed by the artist, which is exciting because Manny Tremblay is the artist, and I believe, I'm trying to look right now to confirm if he designed it, but he is a designer and an artist, which is exciting. And so if he's done both, it's a double whammy. It's gorgeous. Wonderland's War is a gorgeous game. I really like Manny's work. So they've got 2 hours to go. So if you're interested in sort of really beautiful 30-minute 2-player battle, man, this is the one. So anyway, those are my 2 shout outs. We'll see if Rosie has any that she wants to put in. We're still in space, Rosie.
Yes, look at the space.
Look at the space.
I've now shared it with Instagram that we're doing this. So
I want to get this comment from Peter, who is in the chat. There are 3 types of robots: one small, one medium, one large. Wait, is this a small chef, a medium chef, and a large chef? No, it's robots we're talking about. Oh man, I'm looking forward to playing that one.
I unboxed Flock Together. We talked about it last time, but I unboxed it and it's very cool. There's a lot of I really enjoy chicken puns.
Nice.
Like Attila the hen.
Puns are good in any game, right? Puns are great.
Yeah. And the art's Andrew Bosley, but I was umming and ahhing like, oh, look at all these beautiful like chickens. And they've got eggs, like wingspan eggs, but they're heavier, which is kind of weird. So
okay.
I'm curious what they're made of. I was like, are these metal?
Nice.
But I don't think they are. I think it's probably like a heavy resin.
You've reminded me from a component view. I have another game to talk about, but let's see if you have any other crowdfunding things to talk about. Because components, I love talking about components as well.
This week I haven't seen it. Was a lot last week, and this week I've kind of like, probably for my own bank balance sake, avoided.
It also slows down. This is the time of year when people are launching less and less. It's also not surprisingly a bad time to launch in the United States. I have experience launching during a presidential campaign. I can say that it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah. There's a fantastic meme of people reacting to it, and then Stranger Things going, "We have a trailer," and everyone's like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing right now? Seriously?"
Yeah. It's tough times. I have a brief talk about that because, of course, as we go into 2025, things affect a board game publisher. Lots of things swirling in play. Tariffs in the United States against China, where we make all of our products. That's a huge deal for a small business. Not happy about where that could go. In 2016, we dodged tariffs on toys and games, thankfully. We're going to have a lot to deal with going into the next year. That's not even talking about anything personal, just business. We are a small business. So that's what the stream is about. We'll talk about it next year as it evolves. We are still planning on making all the things we want to make. However, that's possible. We still have lots of fun things to do. But we'll talk about a component thing that I saw because I got this game. I'm really impressed with this game. Lots to learn from Endeavor Deep Sea. Oh my God, this game is gorgeous. I'm a big fan of Endeavor, so I really was excited to back this one. But what I'm even more excited about was they managed to pull off no plastic in this game because they have trays. The trays are so interesting. The trays are made out of a recycled material, not plastic. They are game trays with a paper cover to them. Very smart plan. One that I will definitely be considering as well because Dwellings of Eldervale, I chose to make the art the cover, but I did not think of a sleeve like this. This is great. And they also did very smart things like all of their tiles are wrapped with just simple, easy amount of paper to break instead of a plastic wrap. This is very smart. And all of their wooden pieces are in bags that I don't think are plastic, but I don't know what they are.
I think they're glassine, which is a biodegradable, like semi-translucent paper. We've used it when I used to use it when I sold prints because they're archival, and so they keep things protected more than say wrapping them in greaseproof, which isn't waterproof. So I think they're just
Right.
more protective. But
Yeah.
it like just tears easily. It's basically paper. So
Yeah.
it's really
So
cool.
great. Really, really proud of them. I think that, this is Burnt Island Games and Grand Gamers Guild, and they're just innovating. They've got looks like an amazing organization system. One of the things I've always loved about what was the where was the one piece that went? I've always loved about Endeavor itself, but
I think
Rosie,
PC
what's
Hayward's
the
making
artist?
a prince.
I think that's a Prince. It's funny.
Oh, that's so weak.
Um, One of the things that I always appreciated about Endeavor, the first one, was you see what this tray is. This is actually, I haven't played Deep Sea, but during the game, I'm assuming it works similarly. There are going to be things that tiles you can get.
That's cool.
And this tray, as it was the other one, is made to be a very passable experience. Because if this was at the end of the table or it was far away from me and I couldn't see what I was going to get, one of the things that Endeavor did, one of the things that really inspired me as a game maker, is they made a tray with game trays. It was a beautiful tray the first time as well, that was built to be passable so that I could say, okay, I've picked what I want out of here. Now I'm going to pass it to you, which is one of the whole reasons why I started working with game trays and we started making trays smaller and compartmentalized, so that if you're having a big table, you could have you could have resources, but you could have all your different parts. In dwellings, we had the adventure trays. We divided them into two. And the reason why we divided them into two is just so they were more palatable and they could be handed off, and everything related to each element was contained together. So I love when that kind of is part of the intersection of why game trays work so well, is the intersection of, hey, I want to make a game experience better. I want to make the entire experience of how do we get from beginning to end of this game and have it work out the best. And it's all about that kind of engineering. So
I think it's definitely worth thinking about trying to reduce plastic now. I think a lot of companies are doing it. I'd love to shout out Weird City Games because
Weird City Games, great company.
they did Leaf and they made these little like compartments which are little folded box pockets, so it organized the whole game into just cardboard, which I thought was really, really neat. And they did like wooden leaves as their deluxe, but they still had this fully cardboard organization. So I think there's some real ingenuity there in terms of how people are keeping games organized without using plastic. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll continue to look at that. I know that Andromeda's Edge has a lot of plastic. It's not, one thing that I will say about board games, which is a very lucky state of board games, is that you generally buy a game and you keep it. You don't throw the thing away. There are parts you do throw away. That's definitely part of the thing we can look at. The disposable parts that you instantly discard. But like, you keep the game, hopefully. That's what we're trying to make, games that you keep, that you treasure for a long time, so that there is less of a problem with that plastic. But yes, we have to think about a lot of this stuff. We have a game coming up that is, it's the thematic thrust of Whisperwood is about saving the earth. So definitely thinking a lot about that for that game. Want to be as good a partner as we can while we're making deluxeified amazing things. But anyway, so many things to talk about.
I will never ever sell Andromeda's Edge.
Thank you. I know some people backed it and immediately sold it. Like, that was their goal. But I also don't feel that's still going to a home, I think, of somebody who really wants it, even though they were just trying to.
That's how I've gotten my hands on some games that I missed. I would tell people, like, how do I get a game that's I missed in Kickstarter or GameFound? And I go, if it's just come out, check the groups, because some people may be like, I backed too many games, and I managed to get Creature Comforts, not deluxe. I think I just got the bits, because they said they got Flamecraft and Creature Comforts. The family liked Flamecraft more, so they sold Creature Comforts. So I was like, well, I'll have it.
I beware of, to Ellie's point, beware of people trying to, Like, there may be someone selling an all-in of Andromeda at a ridiculous price. Don't buy that. We will come back. We will figure out another way for an all-in to be here. There are currently all-ins available with retailer backers, so you don't have to go to eBay and pay that crazy price. If you can find a reasonable person who's like, you know what, I just don't think I'm gonna play this one, and I found somebody who wanted to kind of trade me a game because they had one I wanted to try, and I mean, like, I would encourage people not to go to those ridiculous places.
Oh yeah. I've only ever bought them at the price that people paid for them
I
for
mean,
shipping,
that's what you should do if it's
because
reasonable.
people just want to move them on. They're not looking for a profit from something. So
Yeah,
normally, yeah.
yeah. Hungry gamer. Heck, I just gave one away. That's true.
I just realized that his little image there doesn't have, because he always superimposes a game onto the
Yes,
green.
he's
So that's
currently
just like a green screen version of his
eating
logo.
a green box. I don't know.
I love it. It's great.
A little bit, boy, I've been sick this week. It's been tough.
Mm.
But I would say I'm on the mend, and we're kicking butt on so many things, Rosie. It's very exciting. So just to briefly go over the fact that we are not going to be here next week, and we're not going to be here the week after, except we are, because Chris Drain is going to take over and he's going to run this stream. I'm so excited for that. I'm actually bummed I'm going to miss that because I have
I'm gonna try
two.
and catch it, but I don't know if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will. I don't know if I've got Wi-Fi where I'll be.
Well, you get a
Um,
chance to, for those who haven't met Chris on this stream. Chris Drain is one of our developers at Cardboard Alchemy. He's a very talented individual who has actually run his own game company, so he knows how to everything from making the game, because he's a designer, but he's also an artist. He actually illustrated some of his own games. So he knows all the process from concept to presentation. One of the things I loved about Asking for Troubles, which he made, is that he did an entire page in the rule book of how to teach this game. So if you buy this game and you don't know how to present it to your game group, here is my bullet point list of how to teach my game, which is, I think, a brilliant idea. More people should do that in their games. Anyway, Chris has a lot of fun topics, and he actually runs his own Monday night podcast with a friend. It's called The Full 42. And Chris also illustrated for us, in the terms of Andromeda's Edge, which Mark just brings up. He illustrated all the art on our modules in Andromeda's Edge and put tons of sci-fi Easter eggs in there. So I hope in that stream you can ask him all about those.
I wanna
So
obviously he gets to do whatever he wanted, but it'd be cool if he did like a module quiz of like, what sci-fi thing is this supposed to be or something. If he's watching now, he's like, stop it, Rosie, I'm not doing that. But it would be cool, because I was going through them I made a short video about the Easter eggs that are in Andromeda's Edge, and I was messaging him. He's there. I was messaging him about like, what's in it. Can you point them out, like your favorite ones? And apparently there's a TARDIS, but I still haven't found it.
Oh yeah, there's a artist. There's I loved when the internet on BGG found like the James Bond Moonraker reference.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people still haven't found, like, there's Superman
Yeah.
references. I love that
The
one. And
call of something. Yeah. I
there
I
is
really like, there was a post on BGG of like, what is the Tesseract one? All the comments are like, it's the Tesseract. Like, Marvel. Is this important? No.
yeah.
Like, so good.
One that he put in there is a Minority Report reference to the precogs.
Yes.
And as sort of a hint to the future, Luke is working on a precog faction with Maximus for someday, which is going to be really interesting about having a precog faction. Cool.
And the Minority Report one also has Neverending Story on the sides as well, I think.
Yeah, which one?
I think
Oh,
the Minority Report one also has. Is it that
yeah.
one that also has the Sphinxes from Neverending Story on the sides?
It might, because there
It's
are
packed. That one is packed.
civilization modules also have statues or giant faces.
Yeah.
No one has pointed out yet that Brad and I are in those faces. but we
I
are.
thought you were only the Futurama dudes. I didn't realize you were
No,
also.
no, there's a whole. Oh yeah, you gotta look for it. Look at that. Chris is out here going. Wait.
Yeah, Chris,
Uh,
please do a quiz. That'd be so
that's a
funny.
never-ending story, Oracle.
Yes.
Man, there's stuff in there.
Such a great movie. Both great movies. That's a great evening. Neverending Story and Minority Report. It's a great movie. Really random, but a great movie.
I mean, yeah, that would be an interesting movie. Weekend, yes, it would. Is there a Matrix? I'm just thinking about what Chris put in there or not.
Is there no Matrix? That would be.
I don't know if there is. I don't
There's
know. It's hard to
definitely the
put.
Infinity Stones, and there's also the rings
Oh
from
yeah, the
Andromeda.
Infinity Stones one is great. I love that one.
Yeah. In fact, I just
Anyway,
unboxed the promo pack today, Exotic
yeah.
Matter, and in that
Okay.
was the Infinity Stones because I was showing through all the cards when I was filming it, and I was like,
Yeah.
there they are. That's why I couldn't find them when I was going through my retail
Yeah.
copy.
So Andromeda's Edge, speaking of retail, is coming to retail on November 15th, which is exciting because that is like days away. We're talking like a week away.
Yep.
And 4 products are coming to retail, which is the most we've ever done. So when Flamecraft came to retail, I mean, there's some deluxe pieces, so there were technically also, I think, 4 products you could buy. But it was only one game. This feels kind of more expansive in terms of gameplay because you can buy the base game. Now, Will Brown in our chat has told us many times that he thinks that the base game is perfect because it's just like a solid, it's like Beyond the Sun size. I don't have one like right here with me, sadly. I should be prepared for this. I will probably go get one in a moment. But anyway, the base game is coming out. The expansion is coming out. So you've got those 2. And then you've got the Supernova, which is the deluxe pieces. It's not gameplay, it's no language. It's just trays and resources and miniatures, tons of miniatures. It is all the stuff that makes the stuff even, I mean, like, metal coins and all the component upgrades. And then you also have something called Exotic Matter, which is the rare promos. It's dragons in space, it's wolves in space, and it's extra weird, wacky modules that you can add. Not key stuff, but if you want to complete the gameplay, you get the Exotic Matter. So if you're to buy all 4, a little bit like, you get to put it together like Voltron. I don't know. You just put all 4 products into the Supernova. It all fits. And then if you're looking for that bonus stuff, the stuff that like, jumbo dice or sleeves or, wooden moons, later on the Cardboard Alchemy website, we'll have the bonus stuff.
I was really surprised at how good an insert was in the promo pack. I was like, this is a great insert for something that you're going to immediately put into another box. I was like, this is nice. I actually put it all back so I knew what was in it.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story about that. But first, Ellie, do the upgraded components and figures have a recommendation for how to store them in the standard box? Now, if you buy the standard game, this is another manufacturing story. The standard game was manufactured, and the plant was asking me what I thought about it, and then I punched it all, and then I punched the expansion, and the expansion didn't fit. And I said to them, nope, everything from the expansion has to fit in this box, and everything from the promo pack has to fit this box. And so we worked on it because that was the mission, was to make sure that you can fit everything in. If you're buying Supernova, everything fits, including minis. And if you're not doing that, then everything fits in the other box. As far as a recommendation of how to do it, I know that Rosie is going to put out a video that will have the expansion coming into the box.
Yeah, they're short videos because as Hungry Gamer says, it is putting it all in the box in not a specific way, but there is some guidance on how to put it in for sure.
The biggest secret, I think, is that the ship upgrades have to stand upright in sort of that little column pocket of things. You've got modules, ship upgrades, and all your mini cards in that. And
it all fits, like
it all, it's designed to fit everything. It will be tricky when we come out with a couple more things, but I think it will still go. Um, but yeah, but as far as, there is a place for the board, and it's just about what do you put below the board, what do you put above the board?
Yeah.
It can
Which
be
for me,
done
I
with
found the resources are great because they flatten really nicely like a bag of
yeah, yeah,
rice.
yeah, yeah.
And the developments also, I just sort of shake them flat and they go on top. Everything else goes kind of underneath. But yeah, I have some short videos that will show putting them in that should help people if they need to know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as long as you've got the cards and the upgrade tiles in the right place, then it's not hard to figure out where everything else should go.
I will
But
say that
yeah,
on the promo pack, the Exotic Matter, there was originally no tray in there because you don't need one because it's just some loose things. You're gonna take those loose things and you're going to put them into either of the two products that you own. So we didn't make one. And then I looked at the first sample, which shook around like it just was like, this feels really incomplete without something to put in. I just didn't, it didn't feel right. So I said, I think we need a little, just a tray, because otherwise it just feels like, why this is like, I don't
yeah.
know, it felt
And
loose.
some
Yeah.
people might not want to put everything in immediately. Say they're
Yeah. Yeah.
buying the retail and the expansions, and they're like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
don't want to play. I want to play with it first." Then you can very nicely pack everything away from Exotic Matter back into its box, and then get it out when you're ready to add it all in.
Yeah.
Because you do get a lot of new things, like a lot of new modules to learn. You get, 2 new raiders to learn, and I feel like if you are
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I've just got this," I would like to just play. Then at least you can keep it organized. It's not just an empty box that's rattling around. So, but yeah, Cardboard
This is
Alchemy do
really,
inserts so well. We do them well for add-ons.
well, that
It's
was nice of you
amazing.
to notice that. Um, I will say we're entering a new phase of Andromeda's Edge, which is kind of exciting. Um, a lesson that I learned on Andromeda's Edge, which we'll be taking forward on future games, is that we did this campaign and we stuffed so many things in this game, expansion and this promo stuff, and then we made a product that had it all in there. But when you, it's like this is a small downside, I think, of being a crowdfunding backer. When you back it, you don't know what you're looking at. You have so many things in there. You're like, is this what I should be playing with my first game? And I didn't realize how much, because I figured everyone saw the campaign. You saw what's in the expansion. We have a
Mm,
rule book. The expansion rule book tells you, oh, these modules are the expansion ones, but also Luke and Maximus really meant for it all. There's no wrong way to play Andromeda's Edge. So we didn't worry about it. But I do think that maybe next time we're going to put a sheet that says, first game, or here's a little bit more about what these components are. Because now what's going to happen, the new phase we're in, is that in the retail sense, we'll have people who buy the game without the expansion first. They'll get used to it. Then they'll mix in modules. Then, like you said, they'll buy the promo and they'll wait to put it in. So I think we'll see like a better Andromeda's evolvement. Like you'll see the base game, then you'll see with the relics, then you'll see with more stuff. And this
yeah.
is a funny count. I think
I mean, I'll
there's
be
no
honest, I just chucked everything onto the table and I just went straight in and I was fine. It's one of those things where it does work if you put everything in. If you're already learning Andromeda's Edge, learning a few extra things isn't much for what you're actually like. But if you're learning solo at the same time, that might be pretty heavy. So maybe you want to save solo, but that at least
yeah.
solo is fairly obvious because you're just looking for the symbol on all the pieces. So
And this point right here, I will note that we also packed everything in Critter Kitchen because we hadn't learned this lesson yet and we had to go to print. I think even Critter Kitchen, I probably would have said, by the way, when you open the deluxe Critter Kitchen and it has everything in it, you are going to wonder, do I need these flowers? What's with the coffee? That is going to happen. We'll have to do, as Cardboard Alchemy, we'll have to put like really good guides online, and we'll do our best to cover it. We'll make sure we do updates, and we'll tell people here's how it works. Don't play with carts yet. That is one of the things that happens when you get a lot of stuff. We do a lot of stuff. We had 90 stretch goals on Critter Kitchen. So It is hard to remember that that's overwhelming when you first get it. What's
I think you'll find in the UK we have a lot of coffee problems, so we'll be all right.
um
Yeah, I actually think maybe it's at least I've learned from Andromeda's Edge for the next unboxing video that maybe I have a bit at the end that's like, here's all the expansion stuff listed, so that
yeah, yeah.
if you wanna not open this yet, or whatever, like you could put it right at the beginning and just be like, screenshot this, you know,
This
these are the bits that you
again,
don't need immediately. Just finding ways, because we did put expansion written into the unboxing, but it wasn't as clear that maybe you want to save and wait. So
yeah,
it's good to know for what we put out in terms of helpful guides going
yeah, like
forward.
we'll make sure the release of Critter Kitchen has a lot more information, but also going forward, we'll see what we're going to do about it. The trade-off, if you're a crowdfunding backer, is that at least from us, you're getting tons of extra stuff because these things aren't going to be available in retail. You're getting all the content. Now, yes, you're going to be like, well, wait a second, should I play with the cockatoo critic yet? Because it's an advanced one. Should I play with the monkey like first game? I mean, you can, but you probably are going to want to step back for a second and figure the game out. At least that's what I think. It's more fun to figure the game out, but we don't have a guide in there that's going to tell you that the monkey is not in the rule book. So there is a monkey card which tells you the rules of the monkey card, but the monkey is not particularly in the main rule book because later the main rule book is sold in a copy that can't talk about it. It can't explain it. So what I'm saying is I think in the future we will put a better sheet out that says, here is the deal. Always play the cockatoo. I will say that is the cockatoo, by the way, just one of its abilities is that it brings out a zoo chef, and everybody has the power of that zoo chef. It's amazing. The cockatoo is amazing. It is one of my favorite critics to play, and I think, and this is going to be another fun thing we're going to do with Critter Kitchen when we get into the Critter Kitchen coverage, is we want to talk to the designers about their favorite combos. One of my favorite combos would probably involve the cockatoo and some other zoo chef friendly types of things. So that card's going to be insane. Yes, 100%.
I don't think it is. I think it's the Muppet. I think that's the best thing.
Well, that's a player power. So yes, if you are playing the Swedish half, you are going to have an insane game. Like you're gonna be. It's wild.
It's complete chaos.
It's complete chaos. But one of the other promos that we put in the box, which again is a backer perk, is the Chimera. And the Chimera allows you to have 2 critics in play. And that means you could have the cockatoo and another one. And you could have rules that are overlapping each other in the most amazing ways. Critter Kitchen is going to be so much fun. I don't know if I'll ever not play with the Chimera because it's just like 2 critics at once. But people should not start that way. You should play the game, find out what the mouse and the one of my favorite starters is the fruit bat. I think the discovery of some of and the kangaroo is a great starter. It's going to be so interesting to see what people get into with that game. So we're going to have a lot more Critter Kitchen coverage coming up. Like I said, we'll have a dark week, no content. Then we'll have Chris in here to change it up, do something different. Then Rosie and I will come back for Black Friday, where we'll tell you all the great deals you can get on our website because it'll be fun. But also, we'll come back with Critter Kitchen. We'll start talking about Critter Kitchen in earnest, and then we'll be back. We'll have Critter Kitchen talk because it's coming out in the beginning of 2025. But now I'd like to talk about some other things about 2025 because I'm wearing the Flamecraft shirt. And like Flamecraft is a topic we haven't talked about in a little while. But if you're watching this stream later and you're wondering, what is happening with Flamecraft? There are like 3 Flamecraft projects that are coming up, like really, and I'm excited about this because it's we've been cooking on a lot of different things. One of them people have like Flamebound is the standalone sequel to Flamecraft, and it is going to be an exciting project to talk about. We've leaked a little bit about it. It went back into design and development because it needed more time. It needed to figure out what story it was going to tell. So we haven't had that ready, but we will be talking about that a lot more. But there's a surprise Flamecraft thing that's coming that haven't talked about at all yet. Can't wait to dig into that in the beginning of the year. But there is a surprise Flamecraft game coming that no one knows about yet. And there is the Flamecraft bundle of promos, and it's going to have new stuff. So oh man, Flamecraft is going to be exciting. Exciting stuff.
It's so perfect for Year of the Dragon.
I mean, yes, we would have liked to do all this Year of the Dragon, which is the current year, but my line is going to be, we're just going to let the Year of the Dragon be eternal, like keep going. I know it's Year of the Snake next year. So yes, we didn't time Year of the Dragon the best, but we did release something Flamecraft in the Year of the Dragon, and that is a spacecraft shop, which went to every one of our Andromeda's Edge backers. There was a brand new piece of dragon stuff. Also, dragons were in Andromeda's Edge. We made sure the Flame Keepers were a faction in that game, and also Sandara drew an amazing the Astro Dracus faction is these amazing giant big purple dragons. So as far as Year of the Dragon goes, we put out a game with dragons in it. But we
spent the entire year working on dragon related stuff. We got to really.
What we did for Year of the Dragon is put in time on dragon things, like big things that we can't wait to talk about. Oh, and Ellie points out there's also a Nether Drake. There's the Void Drake in Andromeda's Edge as well. So we celebrated the Year of the Dragon here. The artisan dragons, though, they're cooking. They're cooking on stuff that is going to blow people away.
Very
Manny
cool.
and Sandara are really up to stuff. So,
but just so everyone else, I don't know anything. In case anyone messed, I don't know anything. You can't get anything out of me. Nope. Nothing.
All in good time. I think in the beginning of the year, we're going to start leaking some stuff.
It's very exciting.
So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of Critter Kitchen things to talk about though, because Critter Kitchen is coming up. We have so many Critter Kitchen fans in the house. I want to know what people want to see as far as Critter Kitchen footage. What people want to see for Critter Kitchen coverage and so forth. And as we get around these holidays, come back to the other side of it, we'll be putting that all out there.
Yes. I believe I'm making cookies early next week with the cookie cutters. The first time I'm using them. I'm really excited.
With the chef cutters, like this amazing chef cutter right here. Look at this one. This one right here. Look at that.
That one might get used more than others.
I mean, the frog, the fact that you can do, not only you could cut it, but you could also stamp it, is going to be so fun because the stamps are so they're such an amazing design. These are Sandara's designs. This is the alpaca. This is Alex.
It's so shiny.
Yeah, it's very shiny. But like it's so much fun to make these. It's going to be so much fun to make cookies or whatever you want to make. You can cut out sandwiches. There's going to be so many faves. Like, I mean, seriously, this is a massive. This is this one, Cecilia the Python. It's kind of really fun.
I've already like trying to withhold all the ideas I have because I just it's what I used to do was ideation for food products. So I'm just like technically modeling chocolate would work, and then you could put modeling chocolate on Rocky Road. It would last forever because it pretty much lasts forever. Like I'm just like, and then there's like Christmas tree decorations and
yes, really fun stuff.
And then obviously like Alex Cutler's been trying them out with Play-Doh, and you could do salt dough decorations, and there's stuff that's non-food related and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool.
Well, we are the cutters are one of the last things that's getting made for and being shipped and stuff like that. So what's one of the reasons why we don't have it yet for this year, but you'll have to be the one to demonstrate, Rosie, what's possible. And then 2025, we're going to have lots of reasons to make things with these.
Yes, like I
We
think like Valentine's cookies could be the right time,
Yeah,
maybe.
this is the starter, right? Yeah, it could be. There'll be a lot of people getting because we're going to start. I still have to do an update that's going to talk about the timing, but it will probably start late January. And then, it could be the right timing for some people, but then it might be, St. Patrick's Day cookies for other people. We're not specifically talking about Critter Kitchen yet. There's a lot of fun things to Critter Kitchen we can talk about, but what do people want to talk about? You can talk about what you're going to play this weekend. It is a weekend, at least as far as when we're filming this. This is not a convention weekend for me, although someone could be going to a convention. I know that Luke Laurie and Maximus Laurie are going to a convention this weekend. They are going to Kubla Khan Fall, and they're going to play Andromeda's Edge. I know that. But next weekend, I am going to a game convention. I am going to Board Game Geek Con. I know Ellie asked about that before. Getting my whatever funk this week is out of the way, with not feeling great. But then I'm going to so I'm going to rest up because that con is like 5 days of just gaming all the time. And Andromeda's Edge is lucky enough to be in the hot games room at Board Game Geek Con. Hi, Bree. It's good to hear from you. Good to see you. And I've never had a game in the hot games room. We're so honored at Cardboard Alchemy to have a game in the hot games room at Board Game Geek Con. It's so exciting. And I've said this before on the stream. Last year I covered this. I don't know if anyone knows this, but the way they run their hot games room is that it is fluid. It doesn't mean that at the start of the con that it's locked. If a game gets hot, like if everyone's playing and checking out a certain game, they will move it into the hot games room. And if a game goes cold, they're like, well, everyone's already played that one. It comes out of the hot games room. So during the con, games can, go up or down and stay in there. We have, we're excited to start out in that room. Hopefully stay there the whole time.
How does the hotness get, like, what makes a game chilling? Like, how do they?
Well, so there's a ranking system. So something that Board Game does a lot is they have these monitors where you can, go and like thumbs up. You can basically give a game sort of that heat by saying, what am I most excited about? And then they have a screen that broadcasts what everyone is currently rating. And that ebbs and flows, right? People are excited about something at the start, but then all of a sudden they start playing something else and everyone's talking about it, and then it bursts into the scene. So really neat.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, look at that. Welcome. Appreciate it. We're talking about what you're playing this weekend or any questions you have about Andromeda's Edge or
few responses. Peter C. Hayward has a lot of games planned. It's almost like he's a game designer and this is kind of what he does.
Nice.
Fabled Fruit last night, and we're halfway through the deck now. Favorite game you've shown me. It's pretty cool. Did you show him that? Is that you?
I did play with Peter. Fabled Fruit is a game by one of my favorite designers, Freeman Fries. So he loves Fs, by the way. It's the thing.
He does, doesn't he?
He also loves green. So you're going to find out that most of his games are green or have green. And most of his games have F in them. And he, during the days when legacy games were made, the legacy games started coming out where basically you might rip a card or change your board and someone else might do something different to their board. Freeman Fries wanted to make a legacy game that didn't destroy anything and was resettable and was also a different kind of concept. And Fabled Fruit is that concept. You have 6 big size cards with these fun animal characters on them, and they're making smoothies. They're just like, it's just a fun thing. It's like animals. They're just like, hey, they're making a banana smoothie, whatever. There are like 5 fruit ingredients. and there are 6
Animals
cards.
cooking? I don't know how I feel about that. Like,
I mean, right? I mean, why wouldn't you like that? It's so cute. Um, there's I won't go into sometimes I get confused and it feels like the, animals are turning into the smoothies, but that's not what's happening. They're making the reason why I say that is because the cards go away. So, like, an animal is presenting a smoothie, and then there's a recipe to meet that. There's a worker placement, so you either take the action on the card, like, "Hey, this gives you 3 of a kind. This gives you 3 draws from the deck." Or go to this space and you get to trade a card with somebody else. There's a mosquito that lets you like swap cards with other people, which is, people are like, I don't want that. But eventually what happens, the other action you could take is you could turn in the recipe for that card and then it goes away. And every one of the card stacks has only 4 characters in it. So once you've made, let's say you love that action, which is the one that draws 3 cards, but somebody else doesn't want that action or finds a way to make those recipes and burn through those 4 cards. The minute that a stack empties, another animal type comes out and fills that spot. So then your actions start to change, like what you can do, and it evolves, and there's new rules that come up. And at any time, if you're playing with a new group, you could just set the deck back to the starting sets of cards, play with some new group, or you could keep going. And there are literally like 52 different new cards. I think there's more than that. It's just so many.
that's
So
cool.
I think I only got up to like rule number 32. I don't think I made it through the whole thing because after I played it so much, I then reset it and played with another group, and I haven't gotten past like 30 levels. But it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really
It does sound like my kind of game. I like ones
yeah,
where things change. But when you say the rules change, kind of, is it like a little bit like Flux or not like Flux?
not
Like
like
it,
Flux, but like so here's one of the things that happens.
because I don't
In the
like that
beginning,
in Flux, because I don't like
no, no.
Flux's
When I say
unknown
rules, it's
ending.
no, when I say rules, it's there's 2 different rules things. One is there are 6 actions and each one has a action type. So if one says draw 3 cards, discard 1, and another one says, you know, ask someone for a card, and
I mean,
yeah,
fair.
it's fair. If another one has asked someone for a card, and if they have a banana, they have to give it to you. Whatever. There's different rules. So as a new card comes out, there will be different ways the game kind of plays. But then every couple of cards, a global rule changes. Like for example, a market comes in after the first 5 or 6 times you play. Then the market has things in it like, oh, there's strawberries and grapes and whatever. You can see the market. And then there'll be new actions that let you mess with the market. Like take every one of my favorite ones is a vendor that lets you take every type of a kind out of the market. So if the market's full of pineapples, you're like, oh, this is going to be the best action because I can take everything out of it. Another vendor specifically lets you put strawberries into the market. But like you start having these things that change the way the game vibe plays. You're like,
Okay.
oh, pineapples are really good right now. Or pineapples are not, there's no way to turn in pineapples in this particular set of the cards. So you start finding different ways to trade pineapples.
Okay. That's interesting.
So and then they come up with like a new meeple. At one point, there is a monkey that comes out of nowhere, and the monkey starts doing different things. And you don't play with the monkey at first, but then eventually you have to go with, okay, well, I do or I don't like that monkey. So I'm going to deliberately make smoothies at the action that you have the decision of what game you want to play, which is fascinating to me because if you do like an action, don't make that card go away. And if you don't like an action, you could get that card out of there. So, Smoothie Economics 101. Yes, we're talking about Fabled Fruit.
I love
I'm
fruit.
very excited from a
Um,
couple of years.
so also games being played are My
Yeah, did we
City,
get any more?
which I love My City. I've finished it now finally on BGA, and it was really fun.
I haven't played this
Um,
game yet.
I know it took us like a year or so, but that was because of our friends being very busy with their kids. But it is fun how like you stick. I do like sticking stuff down. Some people don't like messing with boards and stuff, but there is another version on the other side you can just play, so it's not completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And Ellie is celebrating their birthday because they'll be at BGG Con during their actual birthday. So happy birthday
Nice.
for them.
Happy
And
birthday.
I think,
It's a birthday stream.
and then isn't it?
You don't have to write a birthday.
And
Great.
Cosmoctopus as well, which Brie also enjoys. I like Cosmoctopus, good fun.
Yeah. The
And
Inky.
video
Great.
games. Which video games specifically?
Yeah.
I'd love
We
to
need to know.
I like video. If I have time, I don't have time to play video games because I'm playing board games. It's the
Right.
other way around for me. I wish I had time for video games. I just fall asleep every time. I always feel like my brain's like, "Oh, we're chilling out now, are we? Okay, you're gonna fall asleep." So,
I would love to
one
play
day.
more video games. I get into it. I have a lot of work to do on the board games, but I my son and he wants me to play some Balder's Gate, so I might get into that.
So that's what Martin. That's what Doug, my partner, plays with his friends like every week.
Yeah,
And there's always
nice.
so much talk going on. Some sass. I don't know what's going on with Podski. It does sound like a lot of fun. Um,
Yeah.
Unconscious Mind and Flock
Ooh,
Together.
Unconscious Mind. I want to know how that one goes.
I've
Or
also
how would
seen
you
the
thought of
deluxe
it?
box for that is super shiny, or is there like a
No, it is. There's an
okay?
interesting thing they did where I don't think I've seen this done before, but they did a spot UV, but then they did layers of cardboard in front, so there's a foreground. Oh, it really is clever. They have the man on the couch in the foreground, like actually, so in front, but then the other image is shiny and like fades and comes forward a little bit as well. So it feels moving the way that they pulled that
It's pretty
off.
cool.
I
It's
think
pretty
it's
cool.
really interesting.
I like shiny things. I'm a magpie, so
Yeah.
um,
Slay the
and
Spire. I have not played that as a board game yet. I know that I've played it many times as a video game. Do
it's
like it a
hard to
lot.
get. That game is. I've heard of it for a while now, and I know of the video game, but it's a
Yeah,
game that's hard to get. People are buying that quite high prices because they can't get
yeah.
it. So I assume it's good based on that hard to getness at this point. But I'll just wait.
The publisher is in Los Angeles, so I've met the publisher. And I saw the development process. It was really thoughtful, but there was a lot of thought put into that board game. And I bet it is good. I somehow missed the cycle of backing that. I don't know why. And I do
Just
like Slay the Spire
just
a
pop
lot.
on over to their offices.
Right? I mean, I should work on it.
How's it
I should work
going?
on it.
You've got a
I do
few
chase
shares
down. I
there.
will say that now I'm actually like I sometimes reach out to publishers and say, "Listen, I'm terrible at backing things because I have so much to do, and I just, especially if it launches while I'm running something, I don't notice. But then I'm also terrible at pledge managers. Man, that's like my weakness. So I had to write to these lovely people and say, please, I screwed up. I didn't fill out my pledge manager. But I
Yeah.
also write to people where if I find a game and I'm like, oh, I absolutely love that game. Like one of the ones that I played recently that I fell in love with was Life of the Amazonia. Amazonias. It's an amazing game. And so I wrote to the publisher and I said, please, let's I will gladly, whatever it takes. I want to find this game. They were very, very nice.
So
So I'm
sometimes
very
that works out. Just please.
well. I mean, I know that as a publisher, sometimes it works out a little bit because I'm a publisher and
Oh
I
yeah.
can say, hey, I'll trade or, happily. I will say this: I learned a lot about customer service as we've been a board game publisher, and we have had customer service, and I find out what ways you can approach publishers that don't work or don't make us want to help you, and other ways you could go. And here's my tangible example. Sometimes when you've forgotten your pledge and you are like, oh no, I totally missed my pledge, I am going to write to them. If you write very politely and say, I am so sorry this has happened, and you give your contact, your order number, and you give all your data. Like for Endeavor, I gave them my order number and my address and my phone, and I said, this is the correct email. And like I just confirmed everything. And I was polite about it. And it just made it, they wrote back and they said, well, thanks for making this super easy to help you. Like I have all the data I need. I could tell you what your shipping that wasn't paid is, and I just make this really easy, and we can totally help you out, as opposed to something confrontational with no data, like that we have to go research who you are, which happens all the time. We get all the different types of emails, which is fine. I understand, but I will say, it helps if you can make it easy.
It makes Judy's life easier. That's for sure.
Yeah, Judy on our team answers everybody's email as fast as possible. I told Judy that she had to have a 48-hour response time, and she's doubled it. She's like, I will try a 24-hour response time, which is really sweet of her to do.
And she's so lovely to talk to that people email more.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yes.
So
people
sweet.
love to talk and tell Judy all their fun stories, which is great.
It's so sweet.
Very fun.
It's lovely.
I got some of those stories myself when I first started the company. I was answering all of the emails myself, and now Judy gets a lot of the fun. I will say fun with fun. Sometimes it's not fun, but sometimes it is a lot of fun because you hear someone say, "This is my favorite game."
Yeah, I get all the really nice like tagged stuff on social medias now. I get like people tagging us on Instagram going, this is really cool, and look at all these awesome pictures, and it's very sweet, and it's just lots of pictures of the game, and it's really cool seeing it go from nothing to 100. Like it's just such a jump as soon as they start receiving their games. It's so cool. Carmen is learning Voidfall, which is awesome.
Ooh, nice. Voidfall, I definitely want to play.
I recently is doing Theme Park Mania. Never heard of it.
Nice. Theme Park Mania, I haven't heard of it either.
Clank Catacombs Rolling Realms. But is it the Redux with Flamecraft in it?
I got gifted that game, by the way.
I know, mine's over here, and I've even got bits for it to add in. I just haven't had a chance to play it.
By the way, Bree jumped in and said the same thing. A forum the other day where a customer skipped what game and then wrote, I got the game and a card is missing. Send it ASAP. But what game, though? That's funny. What, Bree works. I know that Bree works over at Arcane Wonders. They make a lot of games. So I can, in our case, if someone sent an email today saying, I don't have a card, I would assume that's Andromeda's Edge. Like pretty certain that's going to be an Andromeda's Edge because we don't get as many Flamecraft emails of late. Could be a Flamecraft email. Maybe Critter Kitchen will throw us into that same mode of which game are you talking about?
But the second question be which card, be which game, and then which card.
Yes. Which card would that be? Yeah, I know.
There's a few different packs, and it's a whole thing. Mark is playing Andromeda's Edge, which I think we could have guessed, which is awesome. It's so excellent. Cool. I feel like you need to set up Andromeda's Edge Hotel, and we can all just take some time off and go and play it all the time.
Yeah. I would love to play games with Mark. We got to figure out when we're going to make that happen. Yeah. Well, I'm going to let's see. I'm going to two conventions. The one we just talked about, Board Game Geek in Texas. The other one, we're going to be going to PAX Unplugged. So when we come back, when Rosie and I come back, it'll be right before PAX Unplugged. We are going to bring Andromeda's Edge to the Lucky Duck Games booth at PAX Unplugged. I'm reminded now that I need to go get a booth number for that by the next time we talk about this. But Lucky Duck Games has a big duck up at the top, so you should hopefully find them. Andromeda's Edge will be there. Luke Laurie, one of the co-designers of the game, will be there as well. So, Dwellings of Andromeda. That's a different game. It's interesting. I saw a BGG post where Dwellings of Eldervale is now going to be in German, which has taken a long time for that to get there. And They translated the word dwellings, but they left Eldervale. I thought that was kind of funny because Eldervale was a made-up word. It is not an actual
Right.
place. They left Eldervale, which was it's funny. It's like it's always interesting to look at translations in general and see
Yeah.
what they're going to do because, for example, when we translate in French, they often leave the English name of the game. So Critter Kitchen will be Critter Kitchen in French, and Flamecraft was Flamecraft in French. But in Dutch, they completely changed the name of the game. Or in, say, Korean, they might print the English name, but then also print like a subtitle. So it's very interesting to see how each language, each region, each
Yeah.
localized region decides, is it important to have the English name or not? Is it important to change the name? Actually, I was thinking Czech Republic also always changes the name.
I just figured that because it's interesting because Critter Kitchen can be translated. They're two words that could be translated. But because critter's a very American word, like we don't really
Yeah,
have critter. We do use
yeah,
critter in the UK. But it's interesting because they just have to pick any other word for animal. But critter's specifically a cute word for animals. Like it
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
more
yeah.
like cutesy and pitter patter of critters and stuff rather than like beast or
Yeah, Beast
animal. Like
Kitchen. That's what we made.
Beast Kitchen, right? That's a wholly different game. So I'm just curious if
Yeah,
they are translating it, which animal word do they use? Because there's probably a few to
yeah.
choose from. I just find that really interesting. Critter
We'll have
patter.
to get a list of that for the Facebook group someday. We can like go over that.
I love that. I
That'll be
mean, yeah, Flamecraft must have been fascinating to see translated, unless it stayed mostly Flamecraft. Um,
Yele. I don't actually remember. Maybe Dutch didn't translate it. I have to go look at I have a
you have
wall
your
of
wall.
here. Most of the time it's not translated. And I understand that that's actually, that's on purpose because the brand name of the game is well known. So if you're looking for Andromeda's Edge, it's probably not translated. But that being said, sometimes it is. Because that market knows, yeah, this isn't gonna we need to have this in our,
Yeah.
I believe the Czech one, yeah, it was a really fun name. So I like seeing all that, I like seeing how that's gonna work out. In Critter Kitchen, also, what's been really fascinating about the translation is seeing what people do with the celebrity chefs. Not everybody has kept the celebrities because they are mostly American known
Interesting.
celebrities. So some translators have started to put like puns on the animal type that was used, and it's just an interesting thing to see. Also in the zoo chef names, if it's a name that's just not really well known in that language, so they've changed the zoo chefs. It's just fun to see what has happened.
Interesting. I'm fascinated to know what Kitjoy has been described as. Pink cat.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
curious.
yeah. I remember too when we were doing Flamecraft, we had a Google sheet that explained every pun because the puns were like, wait, what does this mean? Why
Mm,
are you calling this, you know, Draco Bell? Like, what is that? Right. So not every one of them was understood. And some of the names too of the dragons were like, well, what is skewered? Well, you know, we had to explain what it's
chonkers.
Stewart, but with a skewer. So we had to explain it so that
Mm,
so that all of the partners could go, okay, what are we going to do with that one? And whether they wanted to follow suit or not follow suit. And so we had to explain the many, many puns. So for Critter
I
Kitchen,
love
we
it.
did the same thing. We said, this is called, this is why it's Marty the Fly. Like, why is it Marty the Fly? Well, we have to tell you why we did that. And then you could decide you don't like the word Marty or you do like the word Marty for
It's
your fly.
difficult because that is from a movie. Like it looks like
It's,
him. Like I
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
but
Looks
then
like
I
the
guess if
movie,
they don't have Back to the Future as a pop culture reference, then it's not helpful at all. So
right?
don't know. They're gonna be like, oh, what they call it in Back to the Future? They call it like a life preserver. They say, why is he wearing a
Yeah,
life preserver?
yeah. The Flamegraph names are changed in Dutch, but funny as well. That's good.
Yeah, I
Glad they're
always
still
hear that
funny.
people say that the they did a really good job, or you did a really good job, because I know you guys worked on very closely with everyone doing the translations on the puns, making sure they made sense in
Yeah.
each of the countries, which must have just been so much work to like
It was
change
it was a lot
them.
back and forth, and most of the time it was the other localized partner that like really dug in. I will say I was most impressed with the German translation of Flamecraft because they really thought about, like, there is a there is a shop in there. So it's the Scale Mail Post. So it's a post office, right? And when you translate scale mail, like scale mail is a D&D pun, so it,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily translate. I mean, you might know what scale mail is, but the words might just not be punny or interesting or whatever. So they changed it to FedEx, but it's a reference to a dragon type and a mail carrier. It,
Oh,
it was a
cool.
really clever, way to get that shop to have the right pun. They also did one that was called it was like it was an Airbnb, but it was Air D&D. So they had like made this fun but
That's so
I was
cool.
I was really impressed with the German one.
I'm not really
And
surprised. The German language is like how it's put together is so fascinating. Like the
yeah,
choice of this describes this place. I'm going to put these words smushed together, which basically
yeah,
means like Dorf Romantic means idyllic village, but they've just smushed them together to make Dorf Romantic, and I just find
yeah,
that just really cool. So I'm not like overly surprised that they got really creative with how to name
yeah.
the things that we
The
did.
one
So
that we had to the one that we had to really push back on. I don't know how the final one came out. Um, but the Chinese translation for Flamecraft was a we were a little bit frustrated because what we tried to tell that partner was, hey, we want to have the names be interesting. And that partner instead looked at the dragon and their clothes or their like something about them and sort of just described it. So as a very funny example, Pan, who is the starter dragon that's coming into town with like a stick and a little like hobo pouch, basically like a traveler. The Chinese translator, the first pass of that dragon was dragon with stick. And I was like, we gotta try harder. That's not what we're talking about. Let's get a bread pun in there or a beginning traveler pun or let's get
I
some
kind of
name.
love that.
Dragon with stick. That's what it was. Um
Ah, yes, my favorite, dragon with stick. But potato surely was just potato, right? Like
I
there
don't
was some that
remember. I don't remember if potato should have
dragon
just been
with
potato.
large what are we called potatoes?
Yeah.
What family are they in? I can't remember. Um Dragon
Yeah.
with
Yeah, there
vegetable.
was that kind of thing where it was like because I think the potato is purple in there, so God knows what they did, and
Interesting.
we didn't actually see that originally
Sugar.
because I was just looking at did they get everything right on the box? Did they get the rules correct to the best to my ability? Because I don't have any ability to speak Chinese, but I was very very lucky that Sandara decided to read all the names, and she was like, I got a problem. Some of these are not just so we did ask them for a second pass, which they were very nicely to do. Um,
That's
Mark
amazing.
wanted me to bring up the a translation about a giant Walmart that was attacking you. Unity was a department store, so yes, there is the Czech publisher for Andromeda's Edge said we cannot name the AI opponent Unity because that will be equivalent to saying that it's like a Walmart. Like it's just Walmart. Walmart is coming. Um, so I cannot remember what they changed Unity to. Let's see if I can
This is why you
figure
can't name your superstores just normal words. Because this is the
yeah.
risk. Board games.
So it says that translating Unity literally is would be into a supermarket chain. So basically, let's see. They took inspiration from Ender's Game book series and picked Hegemon. Basically, although Hegemon in the books was a force of good, one can easily imagine as an evil ruler of a galaxy calling themselves Hegemon. So we're taking that. It's Hegemon's turn now. So yeah, so
Hegemon.
that is in the Czech Republic, that was what they show. I love the Andromeda Mart. That's funny.
It just
We'll
sounds like
make
a Pokemon that looks like a hedgehog, but it's amazing.
It is
Andromeda.
interesting. The other thing that I thought was interesting about Flamecraft too was finding out which Flamecraft dragons stayed the same name throughout translation. Like, we had 42 dragons, artisans. Some of them just survived. That name just worked for everyone's like, yep, that name, it stays. I don't remember them all right now. But it was fascinating to see, like, oh wow, that everyone likes that one.
Maybe if it's a word that's
Loaded,
just sounds made up.
Well, yeah. There were certain ones that definitely, they changed based on, okay, potato had to change for every language. But then some, and I think it's a lot of the plant dragons, they just kind of stayed because it worked.
Mulch?
Mulch. No, I think mulch changed.
What about like chonkers? Because it's not actually like a word, is it? So
Yeah, but no, those kind of things changed because no one knows what it is either.
oh.
So yeah, like
Some of the dragons are swanning around town like, I'm amazing. My name stays the same.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'll
I
put
love
a
that.
sheet. It would be fun to come up with a sheet sometime because I can go back and like look at the trend of what dragon. We can put up a fun poll too, like when people can guess which one they think stayed. Because that was because Flamecraft is in, I want to say 28 languages now.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. But I love your wall, but I don't want your wall of languages.
You don't want the language wall?
Unless you help me find a place to put that.
Yeah.
Sadly, no, I haven't got the space.
So brand new UK office is what I'm hearing for.
Yeah, like it doesn't even need to be built of walls, just needs to be built of Flamecraft in different languages, and then that'd be fine.
All right. I like it. We got lots of fun things to do in 2025. So, anything else you want to talk about, Rosie, before we wrap this?
I'll see everyone in 2 weeks, and yeah, I'll see you on the other side of getting married. I'll be.
Well, you have Flamecraft at your wedding. That's amazing.
There's a sort of quests that are going on, and one of the quests is finding frogs in the venue, and I'm putting little signs on the frogs that say, "Please don't move me," because people are just going to pick them up and move them. It kind of ruins the point.
Oh,
but I'm tempted to put a Flamecraft plush out that says, "I'm not a frog," just to be like, "Not this one."
Yeah.
So yeah.
So they can take that one. Officially, I'm hearing that they could take that one. Just kidding.
I mean, it might end up in some photos. I don't know what people will do.
I will tell you a funny story about that. This is a random tangent, but I used to work at Disney, and I was in the division that like threw the parties. So when we had a Tarzan party for the crew, I was part of the team that made that party. I made the Fantasia 2000 party and the Emperor's New Groove party.
Oh, cool.
And the one really funny thing about one of the parties, and I don't remember what it was, I think it was Atlantis. We made these really cool pillows, and they were like character pillows and stuff like that. But people started taking them. They were like, "These pillows are amazing," and then I was like, "Those are not. You can't take that."
Yeah. I mean, it could happen. I mean, I worked on a nearly full scale cake that looked like a DeLorean. So it was like 2/3 the size of a DeLorean. It's a big car, and the only thing that wasn't on cake that was on show, because there's a lot of wood in it too. Let's be honest, that's how you make these things. Was the people I worked for got made the proper. They got made the timer. You know the date time thing that's in the car.
Yeah.
And they had to literally like lock it all in and sign off with the people who paid for this cake. You don't get
Yeah.
this because it's too expensive. This is ours. It's going on our mantle.
Yeah.
And when they
Yeah.
went and picked up the cake, you could see people had tried to
Oh,
take it
wow. Yeah, of course.
because
That's
it
pretty
was
epic.
so cool. But yeah, there was. I mean, it got wrecked. Obviously, it was cake. But this one thing, we were like, we're having that back. Thank you. But yeah, it was. I can see why I'd want that on my shelf. But yeah.
Yes.
So
Well,
if
hope you have
someone
a
really wants a Flamecraft plush, it's fine.
yes. We are here to provide Flamecraft plush. Can't wait till we make more Flamecraft plush.
And they'll never speak to me again because I'll be like, I stole a dragon, but it was worth it.
It was worth it. Yeah. That's have an amazing celebration. We will
Thank you.
come back to chat more board games when we're both ready to do so.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we hope
enjoy whatever you're playing this weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I might play Flamecraft, maybe.
There you go. We're playing a lot of Flamecraft in the studio these days because we're testing some things. Again, we'll be talking about all this. But I have just been reminded that Flamecraft is so enjoyable to play. Like, I know I fell in love with it the first time we made a game, made it for everybody to enjoy, and I get to hear stories now about it. But I also, every time I sit down to play it, I am excited to play Flamecraft. So yeah, I'm glad that
Dobby also says goodbye.
Oh, look at Dobby.
He's scared of the fireworks, which have been continuous, so he's sort of very affectionate.
Stay safe, Dobby.
I know.
But if we did not answer your question today, feel free to throw it up in our Facebook groups. You can post it in our Discord. You can chime in on this video. We're happy to answer anything you want to know about the games we make or other things about publishing or designing or whatnot. We'd love to chat with you. So hope everyone has a fun game weekend and a weekend after that. Get all your gaming in and tell us all about it. And we will chat with you then another time.
Goodbye.